Welcome to our demonstration of webhooks for IMIS. My name's Ross Austin from Dataweaver International. Today I'll be giving you a brief demonstration of webhooks for IMIS. We'll talk about what it does and then we'll jump into some use cases and see it in action. What does it do? It allows you to push data from IMIS to another system with ease. At the heart of it, it's a tool that puts normal IMIS users in control of an integration that pushes data from IMIS to another system using basic IMIS skills like IQA. It works exactly the same way in IMIS2017 as it does in EMS, so you can use it to support your upgrades and rest assured that they are cloud friendly. It's platform independent, so it won't lock you into a particular vendor system. It allows you to choose the best and most cost-effective solution for each of your needs each time you do an integration. If you're working with a partner, it will make your IMIS partner's integration work easier. How does it work? Unlike traditional webhooks, the triggering event is not a data update, but the user's journey through the website. The tool is a configurable iPart that automatically sends a webhook. You simply define an IQA, drop the iPart on a page, and define the target URL for the webhook. It's that simple. The payload gets delivered when the user arrives at the destination. The payload structure is flat, making it easy to work with when using automation tools. What additional features does it have? It also has the capability to send webhooks with the press of a button. And you can also set up scheduled webhooks to run automatically from within IMIS. What are the use cases? You can trigger an integration with any of the IMIS partner systems. You can link IQA data to Powerautomate and email a spreadsheet of data, such as member counts or event registrations automatically. You can update a Google Sheet with live data via Zapier. Trigger a webhook after an IMIS form submission, track and create a journey to re-engage potential members that abandon join forms, automatically send calendar invites after an event registration using an automation, trigger an SMS welcoming new members via an automation, or deliver entire payloads of data to another system. Okay, so now let's look at a few use cases for webhooks for IMIS. Now, for these first two examples, we are going to use two of the most popular automation tools that are out there. However, keep in mind, webhooks for IMIS can interact with any system. So these are just some nice, easy examples where you can see something visual appear on the screen. So let's jump into the first one. In this one, we wanted to create an IQA. We're going to use webhooks for IMIS to send that IQA at the push of a button to Zapier, and Zapier is going to connect us to Twilio to send out the SMS messages. And we'll be able to do all of this in a very short period of time. So let's jump in and do the IQA. I'm going to add a few filters because I don't want to send out too many SMSs for the demo. So we're going to choose people who live in Hungary. Who are not student members. And finally, because we're sending an SMS, we want to really make sure that they have a mobile phone. So we're going to just exclude anyone who doesn't have a mobile phone. And that's it for our filters. Over in the display tab, we're going to keep most of these personalizations. Of course, you can add more in here. That's totally configurable in the normal way. We might also add country and the mobile phone. We're going to need the mobile phone because we're going to send that information with our webhook to Zapier. So let's just check we've got some results by running the IQA. And we do. Looks like I made a mistake. We need to filter not a student member, because I want some more results than that. So now we have 4 different people that we're going to SMS. Okay, so we save our IQA in the normal way. And we'll just make sure our security is set properly. Great. And we're done with the IQA. So now that we have that, we can go and actually add the I part to the page. So I'm going to set it up here. I'm just going to create a normal IMIS content item. We're going to add the Webhooks for IMIS I part to the page. And at this point, we need to jump across to Zapier because we need to get our webhook target. The first thing we can do is grab the IQA that we created though. So let's jump in and grab that. So there's SMS my members. And because we want to put a button on the page, we're going to put it into suppress auto webhook mode so that it only runs when we press a button. Now we're just going to jump across to Zapier and we're going to tell Zapier what we want to do. We receive a webhook and send an SMS. So we can actually type it in here and Zapier's AI will figure this out for us and tell us what we need to use as their catch hook connector and their send an SMS. Now I'm going to change that one because I actually want Twilio. That's because Zapier's version doesn't support all the regions. So here we go. So we're going to get a webhook and we're going to send an SMS via Twilio. So that's what I want. We're going to click try it. And we're already set up with this Zap. So the first thing we need to do is click here. And that's going to give us our target URL. And that's really important. That's what we're looking for over here as our webhook target, and we'll just paste that in. The other thing you might have noticed there is Zapier started listening, so it's actually going to listen for the payload that I sent to it, and that's how we teach it how to interpret what it's being sent. So let's jump back to the I part. Now that we have the target, we have the source, everything's set up, we're going to click OK. Now for the next bit, we're going to just add a little snippet of code that's going to give us our button. So we just click Content HTML. We're going to switch to Advanced Content. We do that because we want to go into HTML mode. And now that we're here, we'll just paste in that snippet of code. And that just creates a button, and we can change the text of the button very easily like this, run our SMS report. So we'll click OK. And you can see our buttons there. We're going to save and publish. Once that has finished publishing, we can open it up and we can browse to it. Now because it's going to be in suppression mode, it's not going to send the webhook immediately, it's going to wait for us to click the button. So we're going to do that now, and this is actually going to send us the results from that IQA we saw before. So we're going to see it send about 4 records. So I've pressed that button, and now when we go over to Zapier, it's still listening, waiting for our payload. So when we click test trigger, you can see it's received those 4 records, and we're going to choose one of these to use as the model for how we're going to interpret all of the information that's available to us. So we'll just go with the first one. And now we have to set up the details for Twilio. So I've already connected to Twilio. The event that we're going to want is send an SMS, but you could call a phone, you can do all sorts of fun stuff in there. And next we go across, we have our connection already to the account. Now in here we're going to choose our Twilio phone number that we set up earlier, and we're going to choose the 2 number. Now this 2 number is going to be the number of the member you want to email. So as you can see here, it's picked up that webhook as a model, and so we have the phone number in here. We're going to set that there. That's going to be my mobile phone. And here we can do the personalizations. So we'll go hi, full name, from, and so that's our message. So it's going to send a personalized message to each of these people, and that's going to come through. But you can also insert, files and MMS and things like that. We're not going to do that here. We're just going to keep it simple. So now, once we continue, we're ready to go. It's given us an example of what's going to come out at the end. And I'm just going to tell it to skip the test because I'm pretty sure it knows what it's doing at this point. So now that it's ready, we're going to publish the Zap. And that Zap is ready to go. So if we switch back to our page where we have the report, all we need to do now is quit this. Webhooks for IMIS is going to fetch the data from our IQA, send it to Zapier, and Zapier is going to SMS our mobile phone. And as you can see from the video recording of my phone, I've now received 4 SMSs. And okay, I cheated a little bit. I sent the SMSs to myself so that I could see them all, but you can see they've all been personalized, and if the SMSs had been different, it would have delivered them out to the correct places. And that's how easy it is to do a simple integration to your members and send out an SMS with this tool. It really makes it very, very easy. So let's move on to the next example. So in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to create a report that can run on a weekly schedule. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to set up Webhooks for IMIS to produce the list of data that we want in that report. We're going to use IMIS for Webhooks to send that data out to Powerautomate this time, and Powerautomate is going to back up the report. It's going to save the report to my OneDrive, and it's then going to email the report out to selected people that we want to receive basically a spreadsheet of data with the information. So we're actually emailing out a spreadsheet using IMIS for Webhooks. So let's get started with that. In this case, I already have an IQA, a basic IQA that I've got set up. It's nothing special, it's just net contact data with a bit of information in here, and I've filtered it so we're only getting 75 results just to keep things under control. So this here is the list that we want to run every week and mail out, and kind of give a snapshot, if you will, and email out selected people in spreadsheet format. So what we'll do now is we will jump into Powerautomate and we'll start creating that new flow because we already have our IQA. So we're going to do an automated flow. We're just going to skip over that. Our trigger is going to be an HTTP post being received. That's our webhook. Okay, so that's the first step. Now there's a trick here. We actually have to teach Powerautomate how to understand what's in the webhook. So to do that, we've actually created a very useful helper app for you. If we go into Webhooks for IMIS, we've got a payload helper. And this is actually pretty neat because Powerautomate is difficult to use in this area, but we make it easy. So we just go in here and we grab our basic contacts, IQA. We select it in here and we click Generate Payload. And that's going to automatically copy to our clipboard everything that Powerautomate needs here. All we have to do here is we use the sample payload to generate the schema, and we paste. We paste in that data that we're going to send it, and Powerautomate automatically converts that to the next step. So we're all ready to move on from here. I'm just going to save, and now we can add our next step to this automation. For our next step, what we want to do is each week we actually want to back up the spreadsheet that we already have in OneDrive. So we're going to get into the OneDrive section here, and we're going to see the full list of steps that we can take here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy a file. First, I have to locate the file. And here's our current Excel spreadsheet. Next, we need to give a new destination. So again, we can use our existing path for this purpose. And we're going to make the second part of this unique by using a formula. Oops. And the formula we're going to use is to get the date, today's date, and we're going to add that in, and we're going to make sure we save it in the right format. Because the next steps take quite a while to do, I'm going to jump ahead and show you the completed Powerautomate and then demonstrate it working. So here you can see the full Powerautomate as it's going to take place. What we're doing is we're grabbing the contents of our current spreadsheet, we're emptying that spreadsheet out. We're then reading the values that came from the webhook and writing them into the spreadsheet, and you can see that in here, the properties that we got from the IQA. They're available dynamically through this list here, and they're nice and neat and easy to read because it's using IMIS for webhooks. We're adding a small delay in here just to give OneDrive long enough to process everything. We're then going to get the file out once it's finished, and we're going to email it out with some information, a bit of personalization, and I'm just sending that to myself at the moment, but you could send it to any group of people. So that is all set. What we do need to do is come back here and very importantly get the HTTP URL, because that's what we have to tell IMIS for webhooks how to use. So now we're ready to actually set up our page. We'll go in here. We're going to use the spreadsheet demo v2. We're going to add the IMIS for webhooks iPart to the page. I'm going to paste in our URL. That's a Powerautomate URL. We're going to go and get our IQA. In this case, I'm going to use a button to trigger it. This is set up to run using ping on a schedule, and I'll show you that in a minute. However, just for the demo, we need to press a button and make it happen, because otherwise I would have to wait for the schedule to come around. While that's publishing, I'll just very quickly show you in ping, we can simply set up a spreadsheet like this. It's just as simple as adding the name, the IQA, the target URL, the frequency that you want, and once that's active and approved, then it will run on that schedule automatically and you don't have to do anything. But for the demo, I am going to press a button because we want to see this actually happen right now. So jumping back in here, we're going to run our demo. Going to run the report. Now that has run IMIS for Webhooks. It's picked up those 75 users and it's sent them over to Powerautomate. So if we go back here, you can see that the Powerautomate is in fact running. This does take a few minutes to complete, primarily because Powerautomate, it takes a while to get through the OneDrive element, but we'll come right back to that once it's completed, and you'll be able to see the email appear in my inbox. So actually one of the things that I can show you is currently Powerautomate is populating the Excel spreadsheet, so you can see it actually filling out the data that we've sent it from IMIS for Webhooks live, which is pretty neat. So it's just working its way through those 75 records. So it's not IMIS for Webhooks that's doing this slowly though, it's Powerautomate, but it's got a lot of things to process at the moment, so here we go. Generally this particular automation takes about 5 minutes to run from when we press the button. Now that it's done that, you can see that it's finished updating with the tick. It should be sending out the email to me as we speak. And there it is. You can see the report has come in. It's come in with some basic personalization. If I open up that report, you can see I've got all my data in here. If I jump back over here, you can see that based on the date, it made a backup today. So we have the current one and the one that was backed up from last week, and our automation is done. And that wraps up our exciting demonstration of Webhooks for IMIS. We've showcased just a couple of examples, but remember, the possibilities are truly endless. If you have any other creative ideas of use cases you're curious about, drop a comment below. In summary, Webhooks for IMIS is an incredibly user-friendly integration tool that makes it easier than ever to push data from IMIS into any other system. As you've seen, you can achieve some pretty amazing things extremely quickly with this tool. You may also be interested in our other tool, ChangeNexus. ChangeNexus works with IMIS change notifications to push data to third-party systems, with the triggering event being a data update in IMIS. Check out our website for more information on either of these amazing tools. Get ready to unleash your imagination and take your organization to the next level.